Final week of the Open is here. If you're looking to crush 24.3, we've got a plan for you. We're going to hit you with a warm-up, some movement efficiency tips, and a workout strategy. Let's get to it.
What's up, squad? 24.3 is here. Your warm-up. We're going to start with a nice long sweat check. 5 minutes on each machine, ski, bike, and then row. And I like that order just to make sure we're getting kind of upper body pushing to start, and then our legs incorporated in that last 10 minutes with some rowing, some pulling as well on that rower. After our sweat check, we go into some movement prep activation stuff. I kind of think of this about as our kind of general core belt here, shoulders, midline, and then hips. Quite frankly, you can do anything that works for you as far as activating your shoulders, making sure we have good range of motion in the front rack, and for that overhead positioning, both in the pull-up bar and bar muscle-ups. I've suggested some I's, T's, and Y's, as well as some shoulder swimmers. For our midline, we're thinking about psoas activation and hip extensions, kind of for the low back and glutes here. And I recommend somewhere between 20 and 30 reps of each, really, to get those muscles firing. And then finally, hips and glutes here. Classic glute activation with that band around the knees, just making sure abductors are warm, firing, so we can get those knees out in a good position. After we do that, once we feel good, I want you guys to build up to maybe slightly heavier than that 135, 95-pound barbell, or whatever your heavy bar is for this workout. Just making sure that we're ready for that heavier thruster when it comes up in the workout. Once you finish that build up, we then have a primer that we want to attack 4 or 5 minutes before the workout, consisting of some bike calories and our pulling gymnastics. 6, 4, and 2 reps, bike calories, and chest to bar pull-ups. Only a little nuance here is that set of 2 at the very end. I'm recommending bar muscle ups instead of chest to bar pull-ups. And this should be done at a pretty high intensity. We've got bike cals instead of thrusters, just so we're not accumulating more kind of lower body squatting reps here. But if you prefer the thruster, go for it. It's a tough one. Make sure you guys really spend time getting warm, getting sweaty. Make sure all of your positions feel good. Once they feel good, then you're kind of on the clock here, getting up to that heavier thruster, primer, and then it's 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck.
We knew it was going to happen. The thrusters, the bar pulling. In this case, we get some chest to bars and bar muscle ups. We knew it was going to happen. So here's how you can get it done as efficiently as possible, so you stand around a little less than Hunter and I did in the workout. We're going to start with the thrusters. The 2 things we want to make sure that we do on every single rep is try to get ourselves in the best possible vertical torso position as we squat down. So as Hunter squats down, I'm saying you do 3 front squats, Hunter. We're going to watch for a nice vertical torso. That's going to allow him to drive his hips into the bar for a nice vertical press, and he's not fighting himself as he stands up from each squat. The second thing you should think about in every single thruster is a violent extension of the hips and knees by squeezing your glutes and squeezing your quads aggressively on every rep. So as Hunter works through 3 thrusters, we're going to watch for a very vertical extension through his torso, hips and knees extend violently. That's going to allow him to throw the bar to the ceiling. Again, not burning out his arms because he needs them for the pull-up bar that follows after. Last thing's not necessarily a movement tip, but just a strategy. Break them up before you have to. If you don't break them up early, they will break you up later. So again, it's really important that early on, that maybe you consider 2 or 3 sets if you're that athlete that can't continue to move that barbell with speed. We're going to move over to the pull-up bar next. We're going to start with the chest to bar pull-up. Biggest thing we want to make sure that we do on every single one of these reps, similar to the thruster, is we don't cross that threshold early, and that we try to get the work done behind the pull-up bar so that we're brushing the bar on the way down. So we're going to try to watch when Hunter does this small set of pull-ups, let's do between 3 and 5, Hunter, that he's making contact on the way down into his next rep. Go ahead. Excellent. One more and relax. So again, if you watch that frame by frame, you're going to notice that he's coming down as he makes contact with the pull-up bar. That sets him up for the next one. And again, he's going to make a smart technique break here. He's going to break up potentially into 5 and 5, 6 and 4, or even 4, 3, 3. Again, we don't want to cross that threshold early in those chest to bar pull-ups, because if you do burn them out early, how do you think the bar muscle ups are going to go later? Moving on to the bar muscle up. The first and easiest tip that everyone should employ, especially if you're trying to get your first bar muscle up or your first few, is to jump into rep 1. If Hunter tries to start directly below the bar, he cannot use free energy of that swing to make for a bigger kip, which means he has to rely on his upper body to pull himself up and over that bar. So we're going to notice that when Hunter does, let's just do a set of 2, Hunter, that he jumps into that first reps and gets a big swing to get himself up and over. Again, does 1 more. Again, if you've come to a Misfit camp, we're always going to talk about bar muscle ups at camp. We're going to say, hey, take a big step back, jump in and get that free energy as you swing through. The second thing you can try to employ on your bar muscle-ups, as Hunter closes his shoulder and gets back behind the bar, you're gonna notice that he elevates his knee. That creates a pocket between his thigh and his torso. He can then extend, so he's not relying on his arms to pull him up and over the bar. He's using his hips to take him up and over. So Hunter, one more time. As he kips, you'll notice his knees come to the bar and he extends his hips. Look at that, catches nice and high. Again, the closer you can get your hip joint to the pull-up bar on the way up and over, the less you have to rely on the arms pulling you up and over, which makes the bar muscle-up easier. Again, same idea as the chest to bar pull-ups, as the thrusters. Break them up before they break you. Yeah, do it.
All right, here we are with your 24.3 strategy tips. Super important to know your enemy on this workout. This is a medium duration workout. It's going to be around 9 to 15 minutes for most athletes. And if you know that it's medium and you know that they're long distance movements, very dynamic, very high heart rate movements, and you put those two things together as you're working your way through the beginning of the workout, it should feel that way. That's super important. You use your athlete IQ to know if I'm going to do a 10, 12-minute workout and it's very intense, and I'm gasping for air at the beginning or struggling to do a specific movement, then that's going to be a problem. Obviously, we have the 85 and 85 reps, the 50 and 35 when we split up the chest to bar and go through that. So again, just another piece of context to think about another type of workout. They're trying to trick you and bait you a little bit with the fact that it's 10 and 10 and 7 and 7, but it is still a ton of work to get done within that time domain. This right here will be a bit of an Easter egg for Misfit athletes, but I will explain what it means. WWKRD, what would Kenzie Riley do? If you're not familiar, you would go unbroken and have really long transitions. She would break it up a ton next to you, look like she was going slower, and then beat you by a minute. We just put that out there to say that I believe that most athletes that are going to do this workout, the best strategy for them is going to be taking breaks before the workout breaks you. So we got a little bit of a continuum here. Two things that we want to avoid in this workout at all costs. Unbroken, but with like crazy slow transitions. If you're spending a ton of time in an open workout standing around, then that's going to be a problem. Over here, we're like, okay, I have this perfect plan. I'm going to break this workout up a bunch, but then you're also just standing around because you don't have the discipline to pick the barbell back up or jump back up, then that's going to be a problem. And you are going to need to find your sweet spot along that, right? Taking breaks within this workout is totally fine, but if you're breaking it up so much and just kind of staying there and waiting to do the workout, that's going to be a problem. So if we do decide to break it up, we've got to make sure that we stay disciplined, especially at the beginning, really kind of staying on getting back on the barbell. But again, I really do think most athletes, your best score is going to come from a strategy where you are breaking up this workout. If you are in that really small subsection of people that can either go unbroken or close to unbroken on this workout, make sure that you are auditing as you go whether that's still a good idea. So if we're over here and we're thinking that this is a good idea, we want to be able to adjust on the fly. If we've got that 5, 7, 9 second transition, that's going to be a problem. So as that starts to happen, you know that you can break up this workout and stand right underneath the pull-up bar, get right back to it. You can break up the thrusters, drop them, put your hands right back on the bar and get back after it. So it's super important to find your sweet spot here. And again, I'll just circle back before we finish. Know your enemy, know what this workout is. It is so incredibly important to know that this is not like, you know, your 2, 3, 4 minute Fran. It's not going to feel that way. And if you make it feel that way, it's going to be a problem. Good luck. All right, so that's 24.3. We hope you guys crush it. Next, we move on to quarterfinals. Right now, if you head to misfitathletics.com, you can get signed up under our Hatchet program for a quarterfinals peaking program. We hope to see you over there on our Discord. Good luck. We'll see you at quarterfinals.